Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to video review for The Equalizer 2 Spoiler Edition. So, I have my spoiler-free review in the description down below, as well as my spoiler-free review for the first one in the description down below. So, check those out, but without further ado, here's your spoiler edition. So, as always, good, bad, and the furry. Still no difference from the spoiler-free edition. Moving on. I wanted to say that I was surprised that I didn't remember Pedro Pascal being in this, because I really started to pay attention to Pedro Pascal in Prospect, which linked to my review for that one down below. Excellent movie. Spoiler for that. It's an excellent movie. Okay. But Pedro Pascal is an excellent actor. So I'm surprised that I either didn't realize at the time that he was an excellent actor or just didn't remember that he was in this movie. But he does a really good job with the material given to him. I don't think that the material was the greatest because like his whole inspiration was just kind of lacking. And then like, I'm gonna go be a sniper up at the top of the tower in the middle of a hurricane. Yeah, I don't know. It boggles my mind that they were like, yeah, let's have this set in a hurricane, because I get that they want to have the wind effects and whatnot, but how is that sniper guy gonna see anything of what his men are doing? And with the wind of that nature, like I'm not a sniper, so maybe they are able to compensate for hurricane force winds. But I don't know that I believe that. I don't know that I believe that he would go up there and do that thing, and then, McCall sneaking up on him like, okay, sure, whatever. I do appreciate that he still had the creative ways of killing people, but yeah, his friend, like the black kid, that was fine. I thought that it was fun, but one of my issues with this is that he goes to the gangster's place and he's like, I'm gonna take this kid back. Like, any of y'all got a problem with it? And so, yeah, he didn't actually kill any of them to do his thing. Like, he just punched a bunch of them out, and then took the kid. But the thing is that these people, like the gang members, clearly know where this kid lives. So you just beat the hell out of a bunch of their people from a gang member, like from a gang that is telling this dude to go murder people. Like, so clearly this is not one of those like fun-timey gangs that doesn't kill people. Like, clearly they are more than fine with killing people. So do you just think that you just took him out of there once and everything's fine? Like, the gangs just be like, oh man, well, he won one fight against us. Guess that's it. He's gonna take one of our guys that we want, but nah, he can have him. No, of course not. That's unbelievably dumb, because you have not solved the problem. They are just going to come get him when you're not around, or come murder you in your sleep. Just saying. That I don't know what he thought he was solving there. But Denzel Washington, such a good actor. Like, that scene when they're at the bottom of the elevator and he's like, no, what's with you? And then he like, told them and like putting his face all in his face, like, man, like watching that scene, I'm like, this guy, oh man, I can understand why he won an Oscar back when they were worth something. Like, not for the best movie that he's ever been in, but he definitely deserves an Oscar from when they were worth something. So I just loved that scene. The implications afterwards, yeah, obviously, but his delivery and his emotion and like, oh man, he is so good. I love Denzel Washington so much. Like, you don't even know. He is such a great actor. I love it. So yeah, and the kid, I love the, I don't want to say innocence, but the amount of innocence that kid had. Like, that he's doing his thing, but he's also one of the other thing. It's awesome. I do think that this movie doesn't hold up as well for the pricing that he was charging him for things, but I appreciate the like tough love that Denzel Washington's character was giving him. Like, the guy's like, oh hey, that's sausage, and he like slaps his hand. And he's like, this is not your sauce. This is not your house. And when I first saw that, I was like, damn, why you gotta be an asshole? Like, fuck, man, he was just trying. But then I was like, I mean, I get, like, one of the things is, like, a chef in his own kitchen type of thing. Like, you don't touch the cook's things. But on the flip side, like, this kid, I think, needs to have more boundaries established and needs to have that, like, the stern father figure in his life, because that's probably what he's been missing. And so was it a bit more assholey than he might have than I think most people would have done? Sure, but I think that it was kind of a way to like wake him up like, hey man, no, this like there's a level of decorum that is expected in this place that where your environment has been lately is not what you should expect here. Like this is a different place, and I think that how he did that, and he didn't hold him up, he didn't like change his attitude and wasn't mean about it and didn't like curse him out or like anything like that. He established the ground rules and like good, okay, let's keep talking then. So I thought that was cool. I like that. But yeah, and how Denzel Washington's character got out of the situation where like all his ex buddies were like, we're gonna kill you, and he's like, no, I'm gonna kill every single one of you, but not right now because I know all of you probably have guns and would gun me down the street. But oh wait, there's Pedro Pascal's family. Hey, can you take me to the airport? Yeah, cool. Well, I'm gonna go, and just in case y'all get squirrely, I'm gonna pick up one of your kids and walk to the car with that. So, haha, good luck, suckers. Like, it's genius. He's got that like thinking a bunch of steps ahead thing. It's awesome. And I love seeing a movie where a guy kicks ass by thinking far enough ahead of the bad guys. And that's what this one does. So, one of the other problems that I had with it, especially when I first watched it, was like the things that the CIA investigator chick was finding to like make the murders, well, the suicide look suspiciously like a murder, was basic bitch investigatory things. Like investigatorily, you would expect your basic detective to detect that sort of thing. Your basic CSI person to CSI that shit. And on the one hand, yeah, I think that's true, that they would have. But on the other hand, we don't want to make it too difficult or take way too long to really like. The important part is she is going to notice things that other people aren't, which is why she's getting killed. And I appreciate that. Like they do a good enough job of like, hey, if you aren't super into the crime dramas and the CSI dramas, that you might buy that she is seeing the thing, and it's far enough away from like the uber obvious that it's not just like, look at this fingerprint on the wall. Who could have left that there? Like it's not that obvious. So I appreciate that it's kind of one of those things where, when the villain takes off their mask a bunch of times, we're like, why would the villain take off their mask? Because we want to see the villain's face that we know, not just the character knows, and also we're paying for the actor's face. So same sort of thing. We're like, hey, this is what the point of this is what we're establishing. So yeah. I also like that I liked her fight scene. I thought they did a good job with that because a lot of times with the, especially since in the years after this movie has been made, when like chick fight scenes happen, they're like, I'm 90 pounds soaking wet, and you're a 6'3", 250-pound, like, special forces dude, and I'm gonna kick your ass. And I successfully do it. Like, even though I have no training. Like, in this case, I thought that they did a good job of like, hey, she's older, like, she is retired, but she has training, and these guys are not well trained, but there's more than one of them, and they are young, fit dudes that outmatch her strength-wise. So she holds her own very well in a believable way where like she's going to use the environment as much as she can and going to do what she can, but there just comes a point where that she's not going to win, but damn does she put up a hell of a fight. And that is exactly what I want to see, is like, I don't want to see him just like Indiana Jones, oh gosh. Like, I don't want to see that, but I also don't want to see, just total unbelievability of her kicking everybody's ass. Like, So I liked this. It had a good level of defense and offense with that fight scene. I think how Denzel Washington's character found out about Pedro Pascal's was kind of one of those things where I feel like they cut out a scene to make it less confusing. But the important part was still getting across that, like, hey, I found you out by calling this thing. So, yeah, you're the guy who did the thing. And that's fine, because, like I said, it's about the journey with this. I guess I didn't actually say that yet. But it's about the journey with this one. It's a fun journey up until the, like, hurricane moment, which they did do a good job of establishing in, like, the news section, like, having it on the background of, like, oh, incoming hurricane type of thing. Like, they did a good job of, okay, that could have just been idle chatter on the TV just to give ambiance of realisticness of what's happening in this movie. But I like that it was actually used at the end of like, hey, there's a hurricane. Again, the execution not great and whatnot, but yeah. So good and bad aspects to that. Yeah, so that's really all I have for this one. I could just keep talking about the individual things that I like, the individual things that I don't, but those are kind of some of the things that just came up in my mind that I still wanted to mention as part of this movie. So, still, fun time. Thumbs up for overallness, even though there are some glaring problems with this. Hopefully, Equalizer 3 is better and not worse. It's 2023. I'm guessing it'll be worse, but we'll see. That's all I have for this one. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you at the next one. Bye.